I am blown away by your performance in this film.
Oh.
It was phenomenal.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you, really.
You are easily one of the best villains in the MCU, and I'm curious, how do you step into that? Like, is it a process to get there? How do you think of him?
I like to make it, honestly, as much fun as possible. I don't subscribe to the pained approach of finding characters. It's in the script. I mean, the script was so good. I read the script, and it's so weird how immediately I had a strong sense of how I wanted to play this guy, because James's big strength is character. For all the visuals and the soundtrack and the fun and what, he really is very careful in creating the arc of a character. So from the first scene where it's not a spoiler to say that he's listening to space opera, I knew who this guy is. And then you read certain amazing lines throughout. Anyone that says there is no God, that's why I stepped in, tells you a lot about the narcissism of a character. So I found it like study. It was really like study, and it was there. And of course, the imagination takes over when you're sleeping, when you don't even know it's there. And then, of course, there's that final piece of you have all these ideas that come to you. You sort of know why you're saying all that motivation stuff they teach you in drama school. Yes, we do it, But ultimately, it's about when you turn up on set, and they put that costume on you. Juliana Makovsky and Legacy came up with this amazing, regal, purple, the narcissist's dream outfit, suit. And then the makeup, that sort of intense, pulled back, sort of twisted vanity of the skin going back. I was like, and then you look in the mirror, and I'm 3 inches taller than I actually am, and whatever, and I go, okay, now I know how to go about doing this. Then the final piece is Chris Pratt in front of me, or Sean Gunn playing Rocket, or Zoe, that person in front of me reacting to me, and that gives me the clues,
I'm really curious about working with Sean Gunn for this, because obviously, as the reference for Rocket, you two share a lot of time together.
Yeah.
What was that like when you're in such a commanding power next to his kind of, interesting performance here?
In many ways, that was what you see on screen was the product of exactly what you spoke of. I mean, I could, have done the version where Sean wasn't there, and then I'm imbuing everything and using my imagination to talk to the make-believe Rocket, So much better to have someone like Sean, who's such an emotionally connected actor, give me stuff with his eyes so that all of a sudden I'm doing what I believe acting truly is, which is reacting, which is why I've never wanted to do a one-man show. I need other people on the scene, and that's where the ideas really flow. That if I can do stuff up to here on my own, imagining at home and getting ready for work, you're hoping the other actor there takes it up to there, and that's exactly what Sean does. Because suddenly I have an empathetic, human being in front of me to be so horrible to, and that takes it to another level,
And that is the thing. He is such a bad being. And I'm curious, when you think of how he will be received, what do you hope people walk away with from him?
I am bracing myself and at the same time hoping for people to absolutely hate him. He's horrible. But in that is the little caveat that, I hope they love to hate me, as opposed to hate me, No, I think that what I loved about this and what James and I talked about is that we're not looking for sympathy. We're not looking for a sort of saving grace to this character. He is a villain, as the title entails. He does bad things, and if there is any sympathy to be had or empathy to be had or humanity to be seen in him, that's up to the audience. That's up to them to decide, okay, I get what his mission was. He went about it wrong, but I get it. There's moments, in the latter part of it that there might be some vulnerability creeping in because of the situation. If they want to respond to that, that's great. But our goal was to ground him in the viciousness of his mission and to embrace that. And it quite personally for me to revel in playing it, you know? Yeah.
Well, the last thing I'll ask you is, did you have a piece of music you listened to think about him or to ground yourself?
I did. Because the first thing says listening to space opera, I actually sent James a whole bunch of my favorite arias. I love opera. I love going to the opera and stuff. And John Murphy, who did the music, then developed his sort of theme tune out of it. But Purcell's Remember Me, you know, that refrain from, I believe it's from Tristan and Isolde. Right. You know, there was a recording of Annie Lennox singing it that just like got me big time. But also things like Marriage of Figaro, Gente Gente, you know, it's just Contessa Perdona, you know, that sort of sadness. I use the sadness of arias to really take me through this lonely guy, because another idea I had for him is that he doesn't sleep at night. So that's when he's listening to the music, he's listening to the Purcell, he's listening to the Mozart, and Don Giovanni was a big part of it also, you know. And that's just helped me. I don't always use music to get into a character, but for some reason, the grandeur of this character and the solitude of his mission made me really lean into those themes, you know?
Well, it's incredible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Real pleasure.